a genius reporter went in there today and asked him if he's been named the starter. And I believe, do we have that audio? Yeah. I believe we do. And Flus did give interesting response here.
Has he been told that he's the starter going into training camp? Do you even have to have that conversation?
No conversation. He's the starter.
So look, there's a couple things here. The first is I just want to check in on your feelings because to lose a bet while also being the one to ask the question, that had to hurt a little bit.
Well, I'm a little upset in Steven right now because I thought when we played that clip we would have the voice of Carman on there just to underline my brilliance, but that's okay, Steven. Don't you?
I will give you credit. You asked that question exactly the way that it should have been asked.
Yeah. Well, but I'm also a little bit confused by the response. Did he just look at him and give him the wink, you're the starter? Or did he just assume that Caleb just assumed that he was the starter when he walked in the building? There wasn't any conversation? I'm confused. How did that go?
He just said no conversation was necessary, and he just answered it in front of the media. And whether he said it directly to Caleb, it doesn't matter. It's out there. It's on NFL.com. It's on every media outlet in the world right now that Caleb Williams was named the starter. I don't understand.
But there was
what you needed.
Okay, well, I'm gonna. When I get my chance to get in with Caleb, a very competitive Caleb press conference today that Hoge kicked off. Congratulations. Great job by Hoge. I'm going to ask him, when did they tell you that you were the starter, or did they not? Did he just give you the wink? Like, I want to know how this went. I know that you're not as into the weeds as I am on this, Hoge, but it's cool. He's the starter. Everybody knew he was going to be the starter. I lost the bet. I'll do 40 sit-ups. That's fine. Next time Adam Schefter takes one of my brilliant questions and throws the answer, I'd appreciate it if you could just give me some credit, Adam, at the Carm here. Just a blind squirrel trying to find a nut here, growing the business. I'd appreciate it if you could just shout me out. That'd be sweet. The show as well, that'd be good too. As a me guy, I can turn into a we guy when the entire show has this level of success.
Love it, Mark.
Gary Ross apparently was there the first time they met with him, and they told him that. I don't know how Gary knows that, but he does.
Gary's everywhere. Nick, your response to this?
But if you're the number one overall pick, Mark, I think does a conversation really need to be had when you don't have another quarterback? I mean, I get it. I get Tyson Bagent. I get it, Mark. I see the face. I know, but there's no true competition for him for that starting job.
So let me get real for a minute because we're having fun with the bet and all that, and I am glad that it got paid off. But I'm gonna take you behind the scenes a tad too. So the night they drafted him, I was texting some unnamed reporters at House Hall because Nick was in Detroit, so he wasn't there to ask the question. But I not only did I want to ask for the content of our show to see if we could get an answer right away, but and this is where I'm bringing this up for a reason that I differed with some of the other reporters on the team. And I get where they're coming from too, but I thought it was necessary to get asked and answered. And the reason why I thought that was necessary, even though we all know what the answer really is and who's starting, is because of how many times in the past they've screwed this up, where there's been a fake charade, a fake competition, or sometimes not even a competition when there should be a competition. And them like, oh yeah, we got to let this guy develop or blah, blah, blah. We're not ready to do that. And in this case, I love everything about the way the Bears have handled this. And I love Matt Eberflus' answer today. There could not, it may be in the history of 14 years of press conferences, not been a more direct answer to a question like that than what he gave you, Carm. No conversation. He's the starter. Next question. Like that's it. And it just gives me more confidence that they have a plan with this kid. They're not screwing around. You get all the reps. You're our guy. And it's sometimes things that are so obvious to all of us and all of you watching this show or listening to this podcast all the time. And we all sit there and we bang our heads and we go, why are they doing this? Why are they not giving Justin Fields more reps in training camp when he should get more? And then, oh, by the way, he's out there in week 2 already having to play with these guys he didn't practice with all offseason. It's just so refreshing that even from a PR press conference standpoint, they just say it how it is. There's no reason to play games. And So how much of that all matters? I don't know, but it seems like it has mattered in the past. So I'm just glad that it's May 10th and we could take all that bullshit and just throw it aside. Doesn't matter now for the rest of Caleb Williams' career. We don't have to go through this exercise that's so silly all summer.
I like the transparency on it too, because, another situation where we could have used transparency is what Nate Davis was really dealing with, right? There was so much speculation and they never really publicly addressed what was kind of going on, and maybe to save, for Nate Davis's sake, but it would have, I think, led to a better solution at the time. So transparency on the PR standpoint, that was really good by Eberflus to do what he did in answering your question, Mark. And, maybe that's, again, a step in the right direction for this Bears organization, how to handle certain things.
Well, for me, if we're going in the serious direction, it speaks to the talent level of the guy that's in there. He hasn't been on the training camp field. He hasn't done anything. You're the starter because we've watched you and we drafted you 1 overall and we moved on from Justin because you are that talented and we do have our sights that high for where we're going. So, of course, there's no conversation because you're the dude. Why would we have to have a conversation? This is the guy. He knows he's the guy. All of that. So, to me, it's more like they have the guy in the room for the first time in I don't know, forever. That's basically that's how it feels.
A lot of things felt different today, but I have respect for the way that was handled.
Christian Solid's funny. Hey, coach, you gonna be the coach this year? Hey there, Shane Waldron. Will you be developing the offense this year? I just wanted to make sure that that's confirmed. Maybe that'd be my new role. I'll just ask everybody. Tori, are you going to punt? Is there any competition with the punter situation here?
Look, I totally understand why people feel that way. Because it is. I get it. It's somewhat of a silly question that has to be asked and answered, and not everyone's going to even agree that it needed to be. But I'll tell you what, if Carm didn't get that one in there, I was about to. It someone at CHGO was going to ask that question today. Even if you want to make fun of us for it, fine. I am happy it was Carm and not me, because it felt like he took that L straight to his face from Matt Eberflus, and not Malik Neighbors' L. The L.
There was no L. He. I don't know if he appreciated the question, but he wasn't mad.
I think he did.
You think he did appreciate it?
I bet you behind the scenes they're surprised it hadn't been asked yet, and they were ready for it. Flus was ready for it.
That's another. Yeah. That was another take. If you get asked this is how I'm answering it. He is a starter. Period. Fun.
Which tells me that they're on top of this. I know I'm probably making too much of it. I probably am. I'm willing to admit that, but I still think it was something that we checked the box on May 10th, and not just because we had to settle a bet. But that was fun.
We all silly like the mayor.